Previously on Survivor.
There's a lot of animosity towards Ray going into the entire game, as someone who's done well in the past and stabbed some people in the back.
But it's making it difficult for me because I worked so closely with Bittner last semester and would like to work with James for the rest of this semester. And those two want me to do one thing, but I don't know. It's tough.
Not really knowing where someone's alliance is my biggest threat in this game, because that means they are swing votes who can jump onto other alliances. And I want to know exactly who's working with who.
I'll pop Bittner.
No, what?
Oh!
No, you're advantage.
Stupid?
That took such a turn. All right, I want this fucking advantage.
All right, Bittner.
Yeah, give me the advantage.
What?
So I would like to steal Ray's vote for this vote.
And the 8th person voted out of Survivor and the first member of our jury, Randy. That is 7. That is enough.
Okay, so Friday starts with a few people telling me that like I'm in trouble. So I think it was like Randy was the first person to come up to me to tell me I was in trouble. And then like Harrison said it, and like people in my own tribe confirmed it. And I was like, okay, this is fun. So then like me, like Bittner and Beef, like behind the scenes were like orchestrating, like setting up everyone and like everything.
Started getting texts from Beef pretty early in the day, saying like, we got to figure out what we're doing, not only this vote, but also like every vote going forward. We need a plan if we're gonna, work together and keep working together. And then we like very quickly realized that the other tribe from before the merge, unified as 6 people, and we're trying to get him to be their 7th swing vote against us. So, after realizing that Ray was on that tribe, I said, screw it, I'm not going to let that happen. So I, messaged the old tribe and say, here's the deal. They're gunning for us. If we don't unify and do this right now, they're going to take us out one by one. And I was glad to see that the responses, especially from guys like Reggie, who didn't play a lot before the merge, were pretty enthusiastic and involved in that.
So we like convinced everyone in our tribe to just like all vote Randy, which like, yeah, he was like one of my original like allies, but also like I'm just trying to survive this week. So like they asked me like, who do you think we should throw under the bus? I'm just like, Randy, and we just went with it.
As much as we didn't want to vote Randy early on because he was someone we thought we could work with going forward, there were 2 parts to that. One is that we had to depend on what the sophomores wanted, and the sophomores didn't really want to vote another sophomore. They've also didn't really want to vote Ray this time, and they were just kind of okay with voting Randy, and that was pretty clear from Beef's conversation with Swartz. He's been using that pledge father, pledge son relationship like I've been using with Fields.
Randy had like a million alliances going on, just like he was the strong player in the game. He had alliances with like Bittner and James, but also alliances with the other, like the old other tribe with Ray and like Noble and Harrison. So basically, we decided that cutting Randy out would be the best play because he was seemingly the one tying everyone together who wasn't working with us.
So I started talking to Schwartz before the vote, and it was then that we decided that we were gonna we decided that they were gonna do like the James and Joey plan the whole thing, and then like right before the vote, Schwartz says you can either be on the winning side or the losing side. We're voting for Randy, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, we have a whole plan. Like, what's going on? But so then I guess like the three or four of the people who were on from the other tribe who were going to vote with us changed their votes to Randy, like right before the vote. So like that really threw me off. But yeah, I don't know.
Schwartz told me he apologized after, because he told me that he was going to vote with us and vote for Joey, and he said sorry. So I think that's an indication that he did not vote for Joey.
The sophomores in our tribe didn't want to vote out a sophomore yet, and then we're going to vote out Ray. So like Randy was like really the only feasible option. It was either like Randy or Andy. Like those were like the only two. So we just went Randy because we thought it'd be easier.
I was kind of against voting Joey out in the first place. I think, yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. Because we from the way it looks like for us, it was Bittner and Joey who were two of James's biggest allies, I think is what we were thinking.
And then also with Randy, I texted both James and Randy in a group message early in the day and said, guys, we just need to vote Ray out. We all got screwed by him last season. Like, we all know he's a snake in this game. I thought it was going to be an immediate unifying, like they both say, hell yes, let's do it. James, unsurprisingly, was all over it. Randy immediately came back saying, like, I don't know about that. I can manipulate Ray. I can use Ray going forward. I don't really know if I want him out of this game. And Beef, James, and I all looked at and talked with each other and were like, the fact that Randy, after getting screwed by Ray last season, can't see the fact that Ray needs to be voted out of this game for all of us to like have a little bit more peace of mind going forward tells us that he's not really someone we want to work and strategize with.
So yeah, that was a mess. There was a lot of like shady tactics going around. Like I got like a fake text from someone, like an anonymous number. So that was exciting. Bittner got one too.
And then of course I'm texting Alec throughout the day, not getting any responses, becoming pretty sure that he's probably either not going to cast a vote or cast a vote for just some wild card that's not going to align with the rest of us. And so then, you know, we were really worried about it being a 6-6 split. So then the moment an opportunity for an advantage came up, which Beef played perfectly by passing up on it, letting me get it, and then popping one of my balloons so that people wouldn't think that we're as tight as we are, kind of help that facade a little bit. You know, he played that perfectly, passed the advantage to me. I knew immediately I had to take it. And then once you told me that it was a steal a vote, that automatically I knew the numbers didn't matter anymore. As long as people didn't defect from the plan, it was going to work out. And thankfully people didn't. So, you know, I was a little worried that I definitely put a target on my back because, you know, part of my thing this season was not really playing the game. And people have said to other people, oh, well, we don't need to target Bittner because he's not really playing the game this time. Now everyone knows I'm playing the game because you made me publicly steal someone's vote, you asshole. But, you know, it's another day. So we're in it now.
My ideal situation would be James playing an idol, Joey getting at least 7 votes, and complete opposite happened.
It's unfortunate. So me, Ray, Randy, and Harrison were all texting. We were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. The consensus was that we saw James probably the biggest threat, just remaining in the game. So we thought about getting him out, but somebody, I think it was Randy, thought that James had an immunity idol. So the consensus is that we try and pretend that we're targeting James and like try and let him know somehow that we're targeting him, so that if he does have an immunity idol, he would play it. he didn't play immediately. He might not have one. He probably doesn't, because I feel like he would have played it by now, but you never know.
Yeah, they're trying to flush my idol out. But the second Binder told me what the advantage was, I knew I didn't have to play it and I was going to be safe. So people still don't know I have it, which is good. So
really, okay, let's go for Joey. Joey, Bittner, and James work together pretty closely. Sahil was on board with that. Andy was on board because Sahil was on board. So then we just needed Schwartz and Beef, and they said they were on board. But it turns out that they probably were not.
Bittner used an advantage, stole my vote, and then they put 7 votes on Randy, and only 5 votes went towards Joey. And I mean, I did not see that coming in a million years. I would never expected that advantage.
I did not see Randy getting voted out, but I guess the Bittner vote steal really put it towards Randy. We had a plan to bait the idol out of James because we're pretty sure he has an idol. So we were laying the seeds to try to get him to play that idol. And then we would get out Joey, who we think is one of James's pawns. That was our plan. But none of that happened. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really mind too much. I'm still just flying under the radar, I was just yeah, I've been forming some new alliances as well. So with the people who are on the other tribe post merge. So I feel like I'm in a good place, but we'll see.
Totally didn't see the Bittner stealing Ray's vote thing coming. And then after that, our alliance still had numbers, except Swartz flipped, and because Swartz flipped, B flipped. And now, in the time leading up to the challenge, and in the past couple of days after it, Ray has been freaking out, so annoying. I love him, but just sending me hundreds of texts, sending Beef tons of texts, and it's pushing me to my breaking point. And I think this week might be the week I flip. And numbers are against us now, so I feel like it's time to get out from that alliance. Right? I mean, it's time. Time to pay the piper.
the one thing I'm trying to do is to use Harrison as an ally, just because he kind of him and Randy align themselves with Ray, and I think they're realizing that wasn't the best decision in hindsight. So I think he's trying to jump ship. So that's been useful, which is why I'm more inclined to keep him around, just because I think he'll feed us information.
I worked with James pretty closely with Old Biani. And then since the tribes swap, we kind of just stopped talking. And I sent him a few texts here and there, just checking in and whatnot. And he was texting me during tribal, saying oh, things are going crazy, that kind of stuff. I didn't expect him to go for Randy. I thought that was a little sad. I mean, he was one of my closest allies in the game, so to see him go.
I'm glad it wasn't me. As soon as he played it, he texted me and he was like, dude, you're good, don't worry. I just have to do it because I know you wouldn't have voted the way I told you to vote, but I want to work with you in the future. So that is definitely good for me. I'm not too worried about that. And Beef promised he would explain everything to me tonight. And so I'm going to be let in on the thought process of what happened. So okay. I don't feel terrible, but this vote out has hit me differently, I would say. I feel so bad for Randy. I've never before in the last 3 seasons I've played, including this one, I've never felt as bad as I am right now, or as soon as the vote ended. That was I felt so bad for him.
He's just all over the place, kind of just scrambling. I don't know. He's just tweaking is the best word to describe it. And I've told him, I was Ray, you need to calm down. You're annoying people. They're going to gun for you. And he's no. I've got it all under control. I got it. And Beef is texting me screenshots of Ray's 10 texts to him saying texting me. He's this guy's out of control. And I'm Ray, you gotta stop, man. Honestly, I really don't have anyone super close on that side. The closest person I'm with besides Ray would be Noble, and I haven't trusted him the whole game. He can flip on the drop of a hat.
At first, I thought it was a personal move. I thought they were trying to get me out. So obviously, he would take my vote away. But then I realized he definitely would not have had the numbers to get me out. Even with my vote, it would have probably been a tie at best. So I realized, like, I think they got beef to flip, and then they were going for Randy. And then I got the text from him saying that you're safe. And I realized, like, what he was doing. And it was definitely purely strategic. Obviously, me and Bittner have, like, a bit of, like, we, like, butt heads sometimes in this game. But it's like, I think in that case, it was just strategic. Like, I'm glad that people are playing, and I'm glad they're, like, the game's, like, kind of chaotic, because it's not fun otherwise.
James got screwed by Ray on the first vote. I got screwed by Ray on the second or third one after the merge. And, Beef was smart enough to play Ray like a puppet all the way until the end. But because of that, he knows that other people are capable of playing Ray the same way. And he doesn't want somebody else doing that, because Ray is a wild card and a snake in this game, and I will never trust him. I did shoot him a text immediately after I stole his vote saying, "Don't worry, you're safe on this one. And I want to work with you going forward," even though that's a complete lie. And the moment I have the ability to cut his throat, I'm going to take it.
Challenge went amazing just because people who I was allied with got the advantage. So basically the way it was going down was there were 13 people left, but Alec Fields was MIA because of Passover.
It's an interesting holiday because it's 8 days, but the first 2 and the last 2 are similar to the Sabbath, where I abstained from electronics. And it just so happens that in those middle 4 days where you can do things, the Sabbath fell out during the first of those days. So it ended up being like 3 straight days of just kind of relaxing, reading, doing nothing. And then the last 2. So it's like 5 out of 8 days of that, which is intense, but yeah.
Not much has happened. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of talk other than Fields is now back, because I didn't realize that, like, Passover was like Shabbat and you couldn't have your phone.
I was texting Alec Fields like, yo, here's the plan. Like, when Shabbat's over, here's what I need you to do. And then about like 4 o'clock, I realized, holy shit, it's Friday. Why is he not texting me back? So then I was just like, is he working with other people? Like, what, or is he just like not care? And then I talked to my parents. They were like, on Passover, the first 2 nights are just like Shabbat, where you have to stay off your electronics. I was like, oh.
Apparently there was a steal. I turned on my phone and I saw a text from like half of the people in it. They were like, who are you voting for? What are you doing? And they're like, just vote X person Y. So it's really interesting to see how it changed, because I think first it was I got one text about it being Ray, and then some there's like, oh, we're making a push for Randy, and then I see that Randy's out. I think it was Ray, but I could be wrong. And so it was definitely interesting to see. And then I could see in the group chat, they're like, Field hasn't answered his phone, so we're just gonna whatever, we'll go. And then apparently they stole a vote, which I don't really get, but whatever.
And obviously, I think Schwartz and Beef are working together pretty closely, and so is Fields, even though Fields couldn't be there. So it seems like they're able to pretty easily play both sides, play like the Ray Harrison block versus the James Joey Bittner block, because they're not in either one, so they can kind of flip-flop back and forth.
The challenge almost didn't matter who won, as long as Joey or Randy didn't win. But the advantage, when Beef passed on the advantage, I was like pissed at him. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, we might need that. Like, he's my closest ally. Like, what are you doing? But then it fell into the hands of Bittner, which was pure luck. He had no idea who was next and what, but getting the extra vote was what gave us the advantage, so that we were able to decide who was going home.
I will say, move of the challenge, in my opinion, was deferring the advantage to Bittner. I knew I definitely did not want that. I mean, I thought it might be an idol, and I have an idol anyway, so there was no real point in getting 2 idols and having everyone know about that. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I knew Bittner was next. I was like, I'll chuck a dart at Bittner to kind of make it look like I'm not working with him, but also he can take the advantage if he wants it. And then, long story short, him taking that advantage ended up pretty much making the vote happen with 0 blood on my hands. So honestly, could not have gone a lot better for my game.
I just assumed he was going to take it. I was shocked when he didn't. I knew it was going to be a tight vote. I knew my name's likely going to end up coming up on the chopping block soon, even if it's not this time, because that always happens after like the second vote on the merge. And so, there was no doubt. It was, like I've said, there was no question. It was, when an advantage is being offered pretty much almost for free outside of the fact that people know you're going to get it, I, had to take it. And there was no doubt. So yeah, I was very happy at the time.
So when I woke up on, what day was the chat? It was Friday, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
I got a text from Beef saying like your name was being thrown around, but I was able to like divert them to Joey. So the rest of the day I was just trying to figure out how to find some people to vote not for Joey because I want to work with Joey. I haven't really worked with him yet, but I realized he was on the outs and he'd be a good person to work with in the future. We're good friends outside the game, so it makes sense.
I like woke up and people were like, "Oh, like what do you think for Survivor?" I'm like, "Oh, I honestly have no thoughts whatsoever. Like I don't care. I'll do whatever you guys do." And like 20 minutes later, I see like, "Oh, you're the first name on their like roster sheet." I'm like, "Sounds about right." Like I've been here before. I like either way, I'm on the jury, so I still get to be involved some way. And it's like something dramatic would have had to happen for me to get voted out, like the way the numbers were.
Mhm.
So like I don't know. Like this is why people play Survivors, for like the drama. And then we went throughout the rest of the day. So it was basically we just were like our old tribe in our Facebook Messenger was like, guys, like let's stick together as a tribe. Like Bittner and Swords were like the two biggest people behind me. After that, our tribe was really close. So I think we're gonna vote together again this time. In my confessional, I said I wasn't out to get Harrison, but like Harrison didn't warn me, so I'm out for him again. I don't know if he's who we're getting this week though, but I backed off of him, and then he taught me why I shouldn't. So
I think winning, or the people I voted with winning this last vote, we might be able to ride that momentum into the next vote and just kind of stick together. But I don't think there's strong ties tying about half of us together. Like I've been trying to get Bittner out the whole game. James, it's the first time we worked with him. I think me, Beef, Reggie, and Alec Fields have been very tight and pretty much have voted together every single time. So
Okay.
I think the four of us are good, but I think other than that, I think there could be a big shakeup. I don't think we just have the complete advantage in this game.
We honestly don't know right now. I haven't talked to that many people. It seems like after Randy got voted out, there seems like there's less or fewer people who have obvious targets on their backs. So it's hard to choose who to vote out. I think we're trying to vote out people from the other tribe again, so that we can have a further, I guess, stronger control of like voting people out in the next few tribals. If we stay in our alliance for now, but that's all to be determined.
what I likely see happening is this will probably be the last week. Like we as a whole tribe are just like, if that even happens this week, because what's probably going to happen is the other tribe realizes they don't have the numbers anymore. So now they're probably just trying to go to their personal connections on the other side, or at least that's what I would do. So I mean, I guess the next tribe will say a lot about that, but really once it gets to the point where like 3 of them are voted out, or like 2 or 3 of them are voted out, they're going to start talking to their buddies and be like, yo, like this person in your tribe hasn't contributed much, take them out. Or like one person who's unexpected gets an immunity. So like, I don't see this lasting too much longer.
Because like right now there's like 2 alliances in like New Caliban, and like I imagine there's like a similar thing in like Bayani, where it's like you're kind of just like, oh, there's like me and like Bittner and Deetha, and there's like Zach and Reggie and Joey, you know, and then like Fields, if he's there, well, like he can go either way. So
I don't know. I trust everyone for the most part. I could see like James and Bittner doing their own thing, or Beef maybe making a move, but like honestly, I think most of the guys in our tribe prefer our tribe just generally to the other tribe. So I don't think they'd want to screw anyone over, at least at this point.
I seriously doubt that'll happen for much longer, because I think we're gonna just like take out Joey or Reggie or a sophomore at some point and split that up a little bit.
we were, like Matt was saying, if we vote out someone in our own clan, like say James, for example, this week, we would basically be screwed because the other clan would just keep voting for us every week, and we'll just get like knocked out like flies. And now the idea is to do that to them, keep voting for them, and then we'll have a free-for-all afterwards among our own tribe members. But for now, we want to keep it safe amongst ourselves and just stay strong, even though it's not formally required anymore. Obviously, someone might betray us, but hopefully that's not the case.
there's like two factions, and right now we're agreeing, but I think the second we start to like disagree, then it's going to get really messy. So, I mean, definitely like me, Bittner, and Beef, and we're like working on like getting Andy. So that'll be like, I guess, the core four, and then like people who like whoever's like useful at the time. So like maybe Sahil, like maybe Zach, like maybe Fields, like help us.
No, I'm serious, and I think they are about sticking with that. You know, we've also all acknowledged it's possible that one of us could screw another over. I think we're acknowledging that more so that just in case it's us, we're not like so incredibly blindsided by it. But I do want to continue working with them, and I think they'll continue to work with me.
I think Joey might be a good ally now because I really put in the work for him to keep him alive, and he was pretty much a sitting duck if a bunch of us didn't get together to try to save him.
We were suite mates last year, and then we lived across the hall, and then also like he was one of the main people that was like trying to put work in that I didn't get voted out. So I'm a big fan of that. I'll look out for him.
I think me, Swartz, hopefully Joey, and maybe Beef can form some sort of alliance. That's the most likely scenario, I think, at this point. We'll see how it goes. Maybe Alec too. Alex has been kind of, watching things from the outside. He has not been the most involved so far, but he might just come out with force and form an alliance and stuff. So we'll see. But I think right now at least those are the people I've been in touch with the most on a week-by-week basis.
There are people around the tribe who I text. Like even when I knew my name was on the block, I'd be like, "Oh, like who are you voting for?" Like just like, you know, I'm not sure I'm at the stage yet where there's someone out of the tribe that I'd want to like collude with. I don't think, because at least like right now, every time I've tried to like make a move or like be like, "Hey, do you want to vote this person out?" It's kind of leaded towards people be like, "Oh, he's too much of a schemer." And every time I've kind of just sat back and let the people who really know what they're doing like take care, like I'm fine. So I think I'm just going to kind of take more of like a laid back approach to the second half of this season.
Although everyone keeps on saying they're going for me, like the numbers are still like fine with me. So like, although like it'll look close, I feel like a lot of votes will be like, oh, like 7-4 or like 7-5. Like, as long as it's not me, I don't really care how close the vote seems. So I don't feel like I need to actually play it for me, but I feel like I might need to play for someone else in the coming weeks. So
not that he didn't try and go for me, but at the same time, I have to be wary of him. But I think it could be a good alliance, like because there are again like so many sophomores in the game. Mm-hmm. Like the sophomores are like Reggie and Alec Fields and Schwartz have kind of made this three-way alliance, I think. And if like we let them get a bit farther in the game, it could be very dangerous because they could just as well pull in Noble, Harrison, and Sahil, which is what they've been trying to do. But all three of them said they wouldn't vote for Randy, so like it didn't work out that way. But in a few more votes, they could easily flip, and that would easily be a 6-person alliance, and then game over.
The next few votes, though, I want to get the power out of the hands of the sophomores, who are definitely working together. I mean, between the three sophomores plus/minus Alec on our team that were very tight and said very distinctly for this vote that we couldn't vote Ray. Otherwise, James and I wanted to do that. Beef wanted to do that as well, but we needed their votes and they were against that. So we said, we're not going to go Ray. And then on the other side, it was the sophomores on the other tribe that were, you know, wanted to work with people like Ray and Randy and Andy and Sahil and wanted to, you know, dictate the vote against Joey, or they really wanted to get James out, not Joey. And, you know, none of that's in my best interest. So I think, you know, Beef, James, and I all said we're the last news left in the game. And we don't want the sophomores in control. We want to take control of this game and be in charge of our own fate. So my goal going forward is getting out the people that I think would tell everyone we need to get Bittner out. He's a threat, which primarily includes Ray. And then picking off some of the sophomores so that kind of weaken their alliance a little bit.
you might have to work together for this one vote to get out somebody that's a sophomore. It's definitely going to be a fluid game, but for now, these first couple votes going into the merge, I think it's more of a new Caliban versus new Biani, based off what we saw in the last vote especially. And I think the next vote might be a bit more fluid, where people from both sides working together to get out somebody that could be potentially dangerous further down the line.
I think I need to do a better job going forward of solidifying the alliances that I have. Whereas in the past, I've kind of relied on Beef and other people to kind of take me through this, both because there's just been times where I've been too busy to truly play the game, and also just times where I've just not really had those relationships to begin with, and therefore had to rely on other people. I think I'm going to need to do a much better job going forward if I'm going to be seen as playing the game, of actually playing the game.
Bittner and I are in contact now. That's the main one. And then because and then also like Swartz, Beef, Fields, and who's the one? Urenchi I've talked to a little, but them not as much. Bittner, we're like, it seems,
Josh had texted me, Noble, about possibly working together now, and I'd love to work with him. So we'll see. I mean, it ends up just being, hopefully everyone can agree, and then it's easy to work with everyone. So
might be worthwhile to work with Swartz and Beef and Alec if Alec is working with them. Just because they don't seem like a huge threat at the moment. And they might be able to help carry me a little bit further along in this game. But the fact that they told us that they were going to vote with us and then ended up voting out Randy without a great reason does give me some pause. So yeah, not ideal. I'm a little bit more nervous now going forward about my safety in this game than I was last week. Because I thought I had a pretty good voting block behind me. But we will see how it plays out. I got to be a little bit more strategic, maybe a little bit more conniving. We'll see.
This challenge is super simple. It is a slide puzzle. The person who solves it the fastest wins. I will announce who the winner is at the beginning of Tribal Council.
All right, let's get cracking.
I have probably done a slide puzzle at some point when I was 8 years old. It's been a while.
Slide puzzles suck.
I know what goes where, I just can't get to it.
This is the issue piece right here. This is one I need to.
Oh golly.
Oh my god, this sucks.
This is so infuriating. How do I get this to
This is like a Rubik's Cube.
It's like a Rubik's Cube. I gotta keep the right stuff in place, but I gotta move the right stuff out of the way to get the right stuff in the right place.
I hate Rubik's Cubes.
I do not expect to win this challenge or necessarily finish it.
No.
Yeah, right there. That's good. That's good.
I feel like I'm almost worse off than how I started.
Now this is down here.
yeah, I can't figure out how to bring one thing to where I want it while keeping the other things in the same way.
God,
This needs to go where now? No way, top left corner? Oh my god.
Alright, I need this one up here.
I blew it all up.
Well, now I'm just going in circles.
It's the books. The books have to get down here.
Nope, I'm going in circles again. I'm just moving the same pieces. Alright. Okay.
Oh my god. I was so close.
Maybe if I arrange it like a secret pattern, it will unlock a hidden advantage. And these words are actually Greek symbols, and this says you almost you won the no. Oh, okay. I just don't I just don't get.
Holy shit.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't even realize I was done. Okay, not so bad.
There you go.
Game.
For this week, we're planning on getting out Reggie. We theoretically have 8 people, all 5 from my Biani tribe, and then Bittner, James, and Beef. Hopefully the plan stays strong and we get out Reggie, but you know how this game goes. Anything can happen at any time, so we might end up finding out Reggie won immunity. But if that is the case, we have a backup. It's going to be Joey. And hopefully nobody flips and we just get out Reggie, start to weaken these sophomores, because if any of them realize how much power they can have with their numbers, this game is going to start to get out of hand and I will probably get voted off.
But we've kind of convinced them to vote out a sophomore this week. We're now just trying to figure out who that sophomore is going to be. Some people are nominating Harrison. Some people put out Noble.
So there were talks of possibly voting out James, but in the end, we decided against it. We, as in me, Andy, and Beef, because we thought that voting out James would leave Bittner blindsided and hurt, which would just end up poorly for the 3 of us in the future. So for now, we're not trying to pull any fast moves on either of them. Also, I really do see myself working with Bittner in the future. We've definitely clashed in the past, but I think he could be a valuable ally, and I've been trying to build that trust with him by giving him information. Like when I heard that Schwartz was trying to vote him out, I sent him a screenshot and I told him. And hopefully he trusts me enough to keep with me on this vote.
Kind of waiting to hear like who the person is to vote out. I suppose hopefully it won't end up being me, in which case that could backfire, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be like Noble's probably like the number 1, and then Harrison's number 2. Okay. No one really feels threatened by Solomon, so I guess he's too likable, you know? It's the charisma.
Tribal here in a little bit. Yeah, not feeling great. Not feeling terrible, I guess, either, but...
So Sahil, I've been working with him from the beginning. In the first few votes, back when we were Biani before the merge, he's kind of just done what I told him to. I'm going to kind of compare him to a dog. Take no offense, Sahil, I still love you, bro. But no, he was loyal. He was always there for me, and he just did what I told him to. And now, I mean, this dog is starting to go a little bit mad. And what you do with a mad dog is you put it down. So he's starting to look a little finicky. He's not really responding as well to us. And when I told him we were voting Reggie today, he seemed very hesitant about it. And he thinks that he might have some sort of Final 3 deal going on with some of the sophomores on the old Caliban tribe. So we'll see what's going on there. But the first signs of him showing that there's something wrong, he's gone.
Heard my name for the first time today on the rumor mill. So I guess maybe I've been flying a little too low, or maybe so low I've been flying high. I guess. I don't know. Either way, I didn't like hearing that, but that was the first time I'd heard my name thrown around as a name that people were thinking of getting out. But I don't know. Hopefully that's not what happens, but you know, can never be too sure.
Right now, I would just try to send someone home who is from, I guess, the old Biani. I think I was Caliban. Whether that's Noble or Ray or potentially James. As long as it's someone I haven't been working with, I'll be happy with that.
It'll be either Harrison, I think. Harrison, Ray, or Andy. So Andy, because like he's probably most experienced with this. But then again, I don't think he's the most actively involved. He has less stake. He has less personal skin in the game, if you like, in some regards. So less of a threat, less motivated to try to overthrow whoever is in the. Harrison is actively doing things and trying to make sure he survives and wins the game. So that's a threat. And obviously Ray, big backstabber. You can never trust what he says. He's a slippery snake. But at least he's a snake on my side at this point. So I think it'll be between Ray and Harrison. mostly. I probably would choose Harrison over Ray at this time, but I would honestly not mind either.
I'd prefer probably Reggie or Fields. Reggie, because he's backstabbed me a few times already, and like I know I can never trust him, so there's no point of me keeping him around. And Fields, because it's like a little like I don't know, he's just not really like playing as hard. I think. Like I've never talked to him, and like most people are like, yeah, he doesn't really respond to texts about stuff like this.
My name isn't on the block this week. That's kind of hype. Don't think I won the challenge though, so I'm not purely immune. But you know, it's looking good. It looks like we're gonna swap the vote or split the vote between Sahil and Noble. We're trying to get out Noble. I've always tried to work with the guy, but he's a little bit of a schemer. He wrote my name down twice. I'm not a huge fan of that. But yeah, so it seems like we have a strong voting block. I don't want to see Sahil go, so I really hope this vote goes as expected. But yeah.
The sophomores. So I don't really know what these kids are doing. I don't think any of them really know how this game is played. They're just throwing out a bunch of different names out there. From them, I've already heard Bittner, I've heard Noble, I've heard Sahil, I've heard Harrison. Like, they need to get their game together because they're just throwing out names and hopefully, like, hoping that people are going to vote with them. They haven't been really reaching out to everybody. And so I don't really think they have much longer in this game. We're just going to start picking them off one by one. And hopefully that is the plan tonight.
It's like 20 minutes until Tribal Council, and this one will be interesting, I think. It looks like it's going to be a three-way split, even though like my major alliance has the majority. We're trying to hide that a little bit by splitting our vote, knowing that we'll still have the numbers in the end. So it looks like it's going to be 5 votes for Noble, 4 votes for either me or Reggie, and then 3 votes for Sahil. But either way, it should go our way. If I start feeling a little bit antsy in Tribal Council, I always have my idol. But for the most part, I think it's pretty set in stone, and we have the numbers so long as like no one backs out or betrays us last minute. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the last minute shenanigans that everyone has.
I think the move is Urenchi. I think that's where people are leaning. Urenchi or Noble. I don't really know. I don't really care either. I'm not, I'd say allies with Urenchi, but I'm not opposed to getting him out. I am allies with Noble. They're allies. Like, I don't know how deep alliances run. I'm aligned with Noble, I think. And I don't know. Me and Urenchi are friendly. At least in real life. I don't know about in this twisted game. But I guess we'll see. Don't really care who gets voted out this round. I guess as long as it's not me. It's my feelings. Yeah.
Not sure how much longer I can work with Bittner and James. I know they've been working with us and they've been good votes the last 1 or 2 and tonight hopefully, but gonna have to break them up eventually. They're really worried about Andy apparently because Andy has a history of doing well and they think that Andy has Ray and Sahil under his control kind of, which Sahil makes sense because he's his grandson. Oh no, he's his son. So that's also an interesting dynamic that we might have to break up in a coming vote. But yeah, feeling pretty safe tonight. Not as safe as before. I wouldn't be surprised if people were targeting me a little bit because I have been doing pretty well if people have been paying attention. But it should be an interesting vote.
I'll work with anyone.
I feel like that's like an issue. I feel like people are going to turn on you.
I don't need allies. I just need the man above to look out for me.
Oh man. Okay, so if you don't want to get Reggie, who do you want?
I want it to not be me.
It doesn't really help me.
I know. Who do you want? You want Reggie?
No, I want James. But I don't think I can get the votes.
I don't think the votes are there for James.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had that. I saw that being proposed.
So unless you have
I have a lot of deep thinking I need to do.
You don't have a whole lot of time. If you have a better idea.
I don't have a better idea than Reggie, so I have a lot of deep thinking to do.
Okay. But you understand the dilemma that if you can't help me with the coalition, and we're gonna have to kill Reggie. All right, you know, I'm just trying to work with you. This is me extending the olive branch to you to try.
I appreciate it.
But
personally, I prefer to keep Sahil around a bit because I think he's slightly less conniving than Josh could be. But we'll see. Honestly, don't care that much as long as someone on my tribe, as long as someone on the other tribe gets voted out.
Randy is first member of the jury. He will not participate in tribal council. He is just here to observe and kind of watch the game so he can better make his decision at the end of who deserves to win. Just a heads up, I had to watch 3 of your guys' videos over again because they were so close.
Wow. That's scary.
Yeah.
Oof.
First person is Sahil. Did not finish.
Nice. I really thought you were saying he won. Oh,
No, I'm just reading down. Next is Ray, who had a finishing time of 11 minutes and 42 seconds.
Ooh, okay.
Then Noble did not finish.
Hey.
Then Harrison did not finish.
No.
Damn, boys.
Then Andy did not play. Then Reggie with a time of 4:33.
Oh, Jesus.
Reggie.
Okay, yeah. He won.
What the fuck?
Then James with a time of 6:24.
I tried.
Crazy.
Then next is Fields. Did not finish.
Damn, Fields.
Then Bittner with a time of 10 minutes 22 seconds.
Oh.
Then Swartz with a time of 10 minutes 14 seconds.
Bittner's an idiot.
Fuck you.
Then Beef with a time of 4 minutes 40 seconds.
Wait, what did Reggie get?
What did Reggie
4 minutes 33 seconds is
no.
what Reggie had.
Jesus.
So 7-second difference between those two.
Reggie took on those 2 challenges in a row to
And
me.
then lastly, Joey, you had to beat a time of 4 minutes 33 seconds. You got a time of 4 minutes 35 seconds.
Oh no.
Hold up.
Joey!
Man, if I had put in the effort,
Damn, Reggie.
This is Reggie's second immunity?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, everyone vote Reggie.
All right. So
I'll
that
nullify.
means for this tribal, Reggie is safe. You cannot vote for Reggie. Other than that, it's fair game for the other 11 of you guys, including Andy, who can't be here tonight. Reggie, how do you feel?
Feel good. I barely clinched a win there. Actually, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was taking too long. I was distracted talking to you at first in the beginning, but you know, I'll take it. Suck it, Joey. Suck it, Beef.
Joey, how do you feel? You got some votes last time as well, so I'm sure immunity would have felt nice today.
it would have felt nice. Honestly, anyone other than Reggie, that's what makes me upset because he deserves it the least. He was, you know, I love the guy, but he's awful. Joey? He's an awful person. I would have rather lost to Beef, TBH.
There's a reason he should have been dropped.
Oh, for sure.
James, does Reggie winning immunity, does that have any changing on like what's going to happen tonight, do you think?
It might. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Reggie won again, which is like pretty impressive for him. So he's kind of building like a pretty good resume right now.
Bittner, last tribal was a very like definitive line in 2 alliances. There was the alliance that voted for Joey and the alliance that voted for Randy. Do you have anything you want to say about that?
Just glad, honestly, in retrospect, that you made me do everything from getting the advantage to playing it a public, open thing, so that nobody thinks I've got an idol in my pocket. I'm sure last week made me a target, but I think that at least kind of helped to minimize it a bit. And in terms of alliances, yeah, I was just glad to be on the right side of the last vote again. Sorry, Randy.
Swartz, do you kind of see that division that happened at last tribal? Do you see that kind of continuing into the future?
I don't know. It's always tough to keep that many people working together. Eventually, one or two people are going to start getting ideas and maybe think it's advantageous to not stick along party lines. So we'll see.
Noble, do you have anything you want to say to that? Was that a hand raise or?
No, I'm just not sure how I'm going to vote now. I was planning on killing Reggie.
Other than just the definitive lines of the old tribes, are there any other new kind of divisions happening within those tribes?
I'm sure there are like stuff that I don't know about going on, but within tribes themselves, like I feel like there's Schwartz and Reggie and whatever they've got going on there. Like, and like, I mean, everyone's got like somebody that they're like, their number 2 or like their number 3 that they've got like very close to them.
I just live with Reggie. I don't like him.
I mean, you're running it back next semester.
Joy's mutual.
I hear Harvey speak more strategy.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Alright,
I second that.
I'll talk strategy.
Let's tell us some strategy.
What are you on the spot here?
Harvey, tell me a
Someone
joke.
slide into my DMs and we can become allies right now.
Yeah, I put that out there.
First person to do it becomes my next closest ally.
Ray
Bittner, I just texted you.
Yo, let's go, Ray!
Honestly, at the end of the day, I want to carry Swartz to final 2 and then fuck him. Because I
Can you raise your hand if you've been in contact with Ray in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah.
the entire time.
Alex, so I know you've been gone for a little bit. How have the last 30 minutes treated you in terms of kind of reconnecting and figuring out what's going on?
It's been a little bit hectic. I'm just finishing like the last couple days of Passover, so I wasn't on my phone until 30 minutes ago. So apologies to anyone I still haven't texted back. It was a little bit much to get back on and see this influx of text about who to vote for and trying to process it all. But I think I made my decision based on what I've heard. So yeah, doing well.
Sahil, just kind of take me through what happened today. What kind of modes of conversation and connecting with other tribe members has been like for you today?
I don't know. It's been different from usual. I feel like in weeks past there was always like a clear somebody I wanted to get out, but like I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. I don't really want anybody out at this. There's no like definitive person who I think has like an advantage at this point, so it's not like clear who I want to get out. Now it's just yeah.
It's the same thing I said before. I was planning on killing Reggie, and now I don't know. So we'll see. I've got a Reggie. Who are you voting for?
All I'm gonna say is so many of you texted me.
Wait, we just all want your love and affection, brother president.
Not anymore, bitch.
Oh, that's right. Congratulations.
Add me to your contacts.
I finally did, but someone else messaged me. I don't know who they are.
Dude, who's sending all these like ghost text messages around?
You know, that's the real question.
I haven't
Well,
gotten.
Bittner thought I was sending him ghost messages, but he just didn't have my number.
I really thought Swartz was the
I wish it was me. It's a great idea.
All right, so just to clear the air, Beef, do you want to kind of explain what's going on?
I just like heard Bittner said a random number texted him like
it was me.
After
Yeah, so I was wrong. I thought an anonymous number was texting me because James was getting anonymous text.
Yeah.
I didn't even check the Elliott chapter contact sheet until today. Realized today it was Swartz. So that was my bad, but ask James this question.
I posted like in my tribe group, like I just got like a weird message and then I asked who it was and they just didn't respond. So yeah,
I got
it's
an
cool.
anonymous text, and I thought it was like Bittner, and then I just ignored it, and they never followed up.
Yeah, so then I also now just got an actual anonymous text from somebody trying to slide into my DMs and be my ally. If that's actually somebody publicly and I really still don't have your contact, I'm sorry.
Does anyone think it's not Ray?
That'd be my guess.
I mean, that's what I thought it was last week. I mean, and I was
No,
surprised.
not the vote. The secret number.
I mean, I have the 732 number, so.
How do you feel like you're reacting to the game being very online, where there is a very substantial, tangible paper trail with texting and like you can record Zoom calls? How is that affecting your game right now?
I'm using Snapchat a lot more all of a sudden.
If someone sends me a screenshot, I'll be like, ooh, that's a screenshotter. You got to remember that. So it's also like, because like some people just don't even think to do that. They'll just be like, oh, this person told me that. If like they do decide to snitch on you or like say what you're saying. So like, I think it's less about just like know who you're dealing with. And like, if you see a pattern present itself, not to slander my allies, though. If they want to send me all the screenshots they want, send me screenshots of your personal conversations. I don't care. But like that, people do look at that a certain way.
Then there was like 2 seasons ago when I was playing, I remember Pisano tried to make some fake text messages by texting himself and like changing the contact name and everything. And that just blew up on him super hard. And, that is a possibility, but we'll see if anyone goes that far.
There are still idols in play. There are still advantages in play. Is that kind of playing into how you are seeing tonight and the rest of the game unfold?
It's hard to plan for an idol.
Yeah.
If you play, like, if you're scared someone's going to use an idol every move, like, you just can't do anything. You kind of just have to. You can plan for it a little. You can, yeah, I guess. But like then that gets tricky. You have to include more people.
That also goes back to like having screenshots, because if you don't want the person you're voting for to know, you need to kind of create some kind of smoke screen. But like you said, there's a trail for everything at this point, so kind of difficult to impossible to do that.
All right, Noble, what are you smiling at?
I'm just texting with Sahil. Sorry.
Want to read it to the class?
Yeah, read it to the class.
No, it's not who we're voting
like
for.
those tribals where like people are like, empty your bag, show us if you have an idol, show us your talent.
If no one else has anything to add, I guess we're gonna go into voting.
Joey, I sent you nudes, check them.
I will, if I check them, I'm voting for you.
No.
And I would like to apologize to him for lying to his face about 25 minutes ago. I had no choice.
It's time to burn alliances. Every door closing is another door opening.
Hello, everybody. If you have an immunity idol and you would like to play it, now would be the time to do so. With that, person voted out will be not in this game anymore and will be the second member of our jury. First vote, Joey. Noble. Sahil. It's 1 vote Joey, 1 vote Noble, 1 vote Sahil. It's 2 votes Noble. Joey. Sahil. It's 2 votes Noble, 2 votes Joey, 2 votes Sahil. That's 3 votes Joey. Noble. Noble. 4 votes Noble, 3 votes Joey, 2 votes Sahil. We're tied. It's 4 votes Joey, 4 votes Noble, 2 votes Sahil. Noble. 5 votes Noble, 4 votes Joey, 2 votes Sahil, 1 vote left. And the 9th member voted out, and the second member of our jury, Noble. That is
that's tough, bud.
That is enough. And with that, you will be the second member of the jury.
You hate to see it. Oof.
Next time on Survivor.
Every time I vote for Joey, something goes wrong.
Andy, you okay?
Burns. Burns.
Fields suddenly woken up and decided he was going to play the game.
I want to be more of a factor.